Rhaqim.
Rhaqim. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Is that your rapper name too, by any chance?
You said what?
Is that like your rapper name by any
Oh
chance?
no. This the Mark of Buddha. Like that's
That's
the
your
guy.
rapper name?
The
That's a
Mark of
long ass name, bro.
Hey man, got the Mark of Buddha right here, dog. I don't know if you ever seen that movie How High, but that's pretty much where that name came from.
You have a wait. What? I
Mark,
can't.
the
Uh-huh.
mark right here on my
Oh
so-called
shit.
first eye, third eye. You know what I'm saying?
Oh shit. All right.
So you know
All
what I
right.
mean?
Yeah. I gotta introduce you real quick, man.
Ooh.
All right. I, all right, guys. Today I have Rhaqim. You can follow him on Twitter at
Insight in you.
Insight You. I'll have the details in the description. But this guy knows so much about so much, and it's just so exciting to just like I don't even know what questions to ask because like I feel like any question can probably lead us down rabbit hole. So I got to really think about it. But that's why I'm so excited, and I actually hope we do future podcasts, a lot of future podcasts, and
Oh, most definitely.
co-create, together. But can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, what was life like before all this?
Oh man, oh man, let me go ahead and take y'all down memory lane real quick, man. So
Yeah,
basically, I'm a young brother that grew up in Richmond, Virginia, and my neighborhood, what I'm saying, was a lot more lax than the other neighborhoods. I grew up pretty much in, I wouldn't say necessarily impoverished environments, but pretty much in
yeah,
the communities, what I'm saying, with lower income, what I'm saying. So with that comes, crime and drug dealings and all sorts of things. But I was lucky enough to never really get caught up in that sort of lifestyle as, what I'm saying, my family members and peers did. But growing
yeah,
up, I've always, what I'm saying, been introverted and quiet and just stayed to myself. So that naturally just kind of put me in a state of just being closer to my inner self where I could be creative. And, a lot of people on Twitter may not know this, but, I'm an artist. I like to draw and, create different like sort of comic books and things like that. But yeah, so growing up as a kid, I was always in the house primarily, but I would be outside, what I'm saying, just kicking in with friends and just getting into little, what I'm saying, shenanigans or whatever, but nothing too crazy. But going into my teenager life, like that's when I started to get a little bit, more, I wouldn't necessarily say spiritual, but spiritual in the context of the religion that my family brought me up into, which is, you know, Pentecostal Christianity. So basically they worship on Saturdays instead of Sundays because they understand that
what?
the last day of the week is, the day that God rested after he
Yeah,
created the world, and also it's the Sabbath, and Sabbath day, what I'm saying, is the word
yeah.
Sabbath in Hebrew means Saturday, what I'm saying? It means last day. So that's pretty
Damn.
much why they, what I'm saying, adhere to that day instead of Sunday like all the mainstream Christian denominations, because they want to, proclaim that, Jesus rose from the dead on Sunday, Easter Sunday or whatever. And that's why they follow that. But according to the scripture, you're supposed to really worship on the Sabbath day because that's the day of rest. You know what I'm saying? So I grew up in that sort of, conditioning or whatever. But I wasn't really too adherent to it, you know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah,
I was just living life, you know what I'm saying? Just growing up playing video games and kicking in with friends and stuff. But when I turned 13, like my father was killed, you know what I'm saying? So that kind of really turned my perception a little bit because I was really praying and praying and praying that he would stay alive, and he died anyway. So that kind of, broke that belief in a way to where I was questioning a lot of shit, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
that point right there is the point where, what I'm saying, I became more interested in like the afterlife and ghosts and UFOs and just the mysterious aspects of life. So growing up after that point, you know what I'm saying, my curiosity, you know what I'm saying, was just ringing through, and I was, what I'm saying, becoming more introduced. I was introduced to like a lot more open-minded music, more creative underground type of rap and hip hop and just punk rock, like all sorts of stuff that like where the artists and the musicians would be talking about things that would be resonating with me on a subconscious level. But at the time, I couldn't perceive it consciously. I just loved that music. And so when I turned 17 back in 11th grade, that's when my curiosity peaked. And there was this show that used to come on the History Channel called Ancient Aliens. Now at the
Oh
time,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So like that, I'm gonna have to get into that too. But like, hey,
All right.
that was the show that really, sparked a lot of my curiosity to the unknown. I wanted to understand and truly know our origins, and that show inspired me to search for that, to have a true desire for that. And I'll never forget this one day I was in church, and I was just sitting there writing in my little journal, and I was like, "What is the truth? Like, I want to know the truth." And like by me writing that, a few years later, like that kind of came, that manifested for me, through my spiritual teachers that I can't really name, on this podcast or publicly, but I do disclose their names in my book, Ending of Satiety. So if any of you that are listening really want to know, my spiritual teachers and how I gained a lot of the knowledge and insight that I've gained at such an early age coming into the spiritual community, then I suggest, you purchase that, copy it, support, and just, learn, who they are. And, it's valuable knowledge. But anyway, to continue with my story, like that pretty much, like
Hey, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. My mom came home and then the lagging came on again. I didn't really get to hear a lot of what you said, but like just continue on. I'm sorry. I think it works in the recording,
Oh,
but
okay, cool. Yeah, that's all right, man.
I'm so sorry, man.
No, you good, bro. That shit, everything happens for a
Yeah.
reason, man. I don't swear nothing. So,
I know, man. It just, but with you, man, it's just like I did a podcast. It was just fine, but with you, man, I think they just don't want to hear what you got to say, man. I swear. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't claim them, but look, man. But basically, what I was saying though is that like from like my spiritual teachers, like at the age of like 18, like they really introduced me to higher advanced concepts and knowledge.
Yeah.
Shit
Okay.
like the Kabbalah, different like hermetic thing, like a lot of shit that you really can't Google or search on YouTube for real, for real. So that sort
Gotcha.
of knowledge I gained at an early point into my spiritual, journey. So that
Yeah.
really catapulted me, So from that point, I ain't really need their like to really be guided by them after that, because I started to have my own experiences, and I was able to decode my life situations and various things that was happening and occurring to me on a metaphysical perspective that led me to the point I'm at now, where it's like I'm consistently, just channeling insight, flawlessly, in a sense where, it communicates directly to the person that can, that penetration and
Yeah.
understanding, you know what I mean?
And at
So
what age did that happen?
that was at 19. Like 19 was
Okay.
the year, like I'll never forget. It was March 2013 when I realized I truly understood for myself that everything is nothing and nothing is everything. Once I understood that,
Wow.
that was what really like activated that shit. Like, because before, I would binge watch things on YouTube, and of
Yeah.
course, absorb the knowledge that, my various spiritual teachers were, kicking to me. And it's like from that point, it wasn't like I deterred from like listening to them or having to
Yeah.
watch their content or anything. It just like was a natural pull away from it, where it was just like I'm just doing my own thing. I'm learning from life itself now. And ever
Yeah.
since I just been learning from life itself. And that's why I always say life is the master. Life is the greatest teacher there is, you know what I mean? So that's the point where we got to. And like as for like my you know, Twitter days or whatever, like coming into Twitter pretty much, you know what I mean? Like it was this rant that I went on about how like aliens and UFOs are not interstellar, meaning like outside in space, like they don't come from outer space. These are interdimensional entities and phenomena.
Oh shit.
So like that shit right there is what like pretty much sparked my page to grow the way it did back then, because a lot of people that were in the spiritual community that had a
Yeah.
lot of followers or whatever was retweeting a lot of, you know what I'm saying, that whole rant basically. So like that shit pretty
Wow.
much kind of went viral back then, and that's how I gained a following. And at the time, I was going by different names or whatever. So like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, like the tweets are, you know what I'm saying, masked by these different names, but it's under the same account. But now today is Insight in You officially, School of Insight. You know what I'm saying, and yeah, that's pretty much where we at. You know what I mean?
So that's from then to present day. How old are you now?
I'm 20. I'm about to be 26. So yeah, that's
Oh
about 7
wow.
years ago. Yeah,
Damn.
yeah, that's a minute, man.
Gotcha.
That time go
Okay.
by.
Okay, we gotta go back, man. That's so interesting about what you said about the aliens and interdimensional stuff. So okay, so does aliens does that whole concept fit in with the whole spirituality type, type of thing? How does that fit in with you? Like, how does
See
aliens work?
now, it depends on your perspective. So look,
Okay,
check this out. Like, I don't know if you remember 2012 when a lot of people were kind of like asserting that the world was going to end because of the Mayan calendar and all this sort of stuff.
dude. I
Yeah.
hate. Hold on. I'm sorry. I just want to say I I can't remember if it was 2012. No, it wasn't 2012. But do you remember there was like another one, like May 21st, like a Harrow camping, like it was a Christian thing. Do you remember
No,
that one?
no, I'm
All
not
right.
sure.
Well, I literally thought it was over that day. Like I remember I was as a young kid, like I was like, damn, I haven't had sex yet, and like I don't know, it was the worst day of my life, man. It was like a doomsday prediction. It was like more legit than 2012 at the time, and I remember I was just so devastated, man. I was just like, damn, I haven't had sex, and that's all I thought about. Honestly, I was little, but I remember the dude said 7 o'clock on May 21st or something, and I remember I was at work, and then I gathered up everyone in the back, and we just stared at the clock, and then like it didn't happen, but yeah.
Yep, that's how what I mean. With 2012, that's how it was for me, dog. Like
Nuh-uh.
it was like I'm telling you, dog. Like it was like I mean, I was like preaching to my boys and shit. Like, look, man, this shit about to end, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't even matter now, dog. Like, this shit about to, you know what I'm saying, about to be a major catastrophe, a cataclysm. The whole cosmos gonna crush down on itself type shit. But of
Yeah.
course, it didn't happen. And then when that shit happened, it's like, oh, okay, now what next? You know what I mean? So that's why when 2013 was such a transitional year for me. It was like, all right, we thought all this
Oh,
was gonna happen. We thought
yeah.
aliens was gonna come here and destroy the planet. We thought people was gonna be abducted and all this sort of
Yeah.
crazy shit. But I mean, we thought the Anunnaki and the Biru was gonna come
Oh
through and
yeah.
all
Oh
this
yeah.
shit. And that was another point I was gonna make too with the ancient alien shit. The ancient alien show is some bullshit because basically with that, with they're basically trying to reduce the intelligence of indigenous cultures, you know what I'm saying? Indigenous people, you know
Damn.
what I mean? Like the black and brown people that built a lot of these ancient structures, like they just couldn't fathom as, colonialist Europeans, so they couldn't fathom how, you know what I'm saying, how black and brown people all around the world were building these different things. Asiatic people were building all these different
Yeah.
structures, you know what I'm saying? Had
Yeah.
this knowledge and understanding of the cosmos and the inner self, you know what I'm saying? All the way from the east to, you know what I'm saying, Africa and the Americas, you know what I mean? Like they just couldn't fathom it, you know what I mean? So I believe that show is pretty much, you know what I'm saying, not intentionally, but it could just been out of ignorance, you know what I mean? Like they could just really, I said a lot of them. I mean, they had a couple of people of in various indigenous descents that was believing that too. Like I forgot the name of the guy, but he actually wrote some book called Chariots of the Gods and all this sort of
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so like I forgot his name, but I know Zachariah Sitchin. He was the main one that posited that whole theory, the ancient alien theory, and he again was like somebody of I don't know what his ethnic or racial background was, but he was somebody that was kind of not European or whatever. But hey, everybody
yeah.
got their beliefs and shit, but it's some bullshit because human beings build a lot of those things, just like the pyramids. Those things are, what I'm saying, energy generators. Like you go inside a pyramid, especially like the pyramids of Giza, you go in there,
Yeah.
and the whole purpose is like resonance. Like they, what I'm saying, meditate, chant Om or whatever frequency they want to tune into, and that's how they become like they go into the astral plane that way. That's how they prepare for death. They set themselves up in the astral plane before they actually take physical death. So by the time when they actually pass on, you know what I'm saying, they have what they need in the astral, you know what I'm saying? So that's the whole thing. That's why they were buried with a lot of their belongings. And you know, the mundane uh archaeologists would look at that like, oh, they were some very materialistic people. Like, nah, they just had a different spiritual understanding of how everything is tied together. They didn't see life as in parts, you know what I'm saying? Just like a lot of indigenous cultures, like various African tribes, you know what I'm saying? It's animism. Like they believe life and spirit is everything and everywhere, you know what I'm saying? So it's not nothing to differentiate between.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. I can talk about that shit for days. I just don't know enough about it. But that's just so interesting to me. So I have you heard about the pyramids? I can't remember. I saw these accounts. They're more Arabic, but they built this pyramid or something, and can't remember what it was about. But something crazy happened. I don't know what it was, but they tried to do it again, and they got shut down. Like they
Mm.
completely got shut down. But what happens if someone try to recreate the pyramid, or what if does it have to be that big, or isn't there like something if you just create a smaller one or something like that, or no?
It depends on the intention of like who, like the other builder for real, for real. I don't know if you ever heard of this guy named Edward Lee Stalin. He was this small, frail. Uh, I I know he was like a European descent, but I don't know which like European like bloodline he's descended from. But
Yeah.
he lived in, I believe it was Florida. He built something called Coral Castle. You can definitely look this up. He built Coral Castle, and it's this massive stones that he built by himself and by means of like vibrational levitation, you know what I'm saying? Because he said that he had the secrets of how the pyramids were built in Egypt, and he applied the formula and he built Coral Castle all by himself, moving large megaliths, you know what I'm saying, of stones across from one point of this of where he was at all the way to the other side of like the region he was at to build this Coral Castle all by himself using that one formula that he claimed to
Through
be
vibration or
yeah,
what?
vibrational levitation. Like that's the only way you
Oh,
can
shit.
move, you know what I'm saying, large massive stones like that easily. Like it was by himself. And you know, there's a lot of mystery surrounding this guy. But like yeah, definitely look him up. Like his story is very interesting. And like when you see the Coral Castle, you're like, damn, how could this small little frail guy, you know, lift all these rocks? It's because he
Yeah.
said it for himself. He knew the secret of how the pyramids were built. So, you know, cats like him, you know what I'm saying? Like they like it's people with that knowledge, you know what I'm saying? But you're not gonna hear about them, see them on the internet like that. But that's like many years ago, like back in like I believe like the 1900s for real, or this like that.
Oh.
Yeah, like he did that shit, or either like coming into like the 21st century. But yeah, definitely interesting guy and topic to look
Mhm.
into.
Have you heard about how Asiatic people are apparently white people 2.0? Like
I've heard that claim. I've heard it. It's like I don't know, cause when I see
uh-huh.
like indigenous Americans, like take
Yeah.
Hawaiians for instance, we all know that Hawaiian people were descendants of Japanese people. You know what I'm
What?
saying?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. They are descendants of
Okay.
Japanese. So like people like that, like when you look at them, they look a lot more like South American people,
Yeah.
Middle American, like Mesoamerican, whatever you call it, Central American. Yeah, Central American
Yeah.
people and stuff. I believe like Asians, Asiatic people are like of that same bloodline. Like I don't really see the ties to, uh, you know,
Yeah.
European or whatever. But even it could be. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
it is a major debate. I seen people postulate that before. So yeah.
So another thing the same guy said to me was snakes or dragons.
Mm-hmm.
How in Western culture we see dragons as this beast with wings, and then in the Eastern
Mm-hmm.
culture they're more serpent-like, but they're also
Mm-hmm.
very wise. Like they're, you know what I'm saying? Do you know anything about that?
Oh man, see, it's a lot about that, man. I like, hey, that's what I say. You gotta get in the school of insight group, man. Like
Oh shit!
that's serpent knowledge. A lot of I dropped gems
Yeah,
about that shit before in that group, but
okay,
yeah, like I'll touch a little bit on it. I ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying, reveal too much because there's a lot to the
yeah.
serpent. that it's not a coincidence that every single culture around the world was familiar with serpents and dragons back in antiquity. You know what I'm saying? Like that's no
Yeah.
coincidence. Like even in various Western African spiritual traditions and religions, they have a serpentine god that created the universe and everything like that. And that shit is still tied to the Kundalini energy that's located at the base of the spine, which is the spinal fluid that travels up to the cerebral cortex, which then sparks enlightenment and various other spiritual phenomena and mystical experiences. So it's all correlated to that, as well as the DNA. But that's all I'll say. Like that's some heavy shit right there.
So what do you know about Kundalini?
Oh man,
Or have you experienced with that? Or
I've had I I could say I believe I had a slight Kundalini experience before. I like see in my early spiritual days, like I was really like all the way on that whole Eastern philosophy and shit. Like when it
yeah,
comes to like the Indian Hindu text and the Bhagavad
yeah,
Gita and the various
yeah.
yogic tantras and all these different things. Like I was really heavy into that, and I mean, but yeah, I believe I had a slight experience of that. I wouldn't say I had an experience of that, but it's a little personal. But basically, I was, having sexual relations with a woman before, and I'm saying when I was about to orgasm, I like that orgasmic energy, like you feel when that tension when it's about to release,
Yeah, yeah,
instead of it
yeah,
coming
bro.
out, what I'm saying, out of the
Yeah.
penis or whatever, like that energy,
No.
that without my intent, like it traveled all the way up, what I'm saying, to my heart
What?
space. And it just released there. And it was like a burning, but at the same time, blissful sensation. It just stopped there. It's like a resonance of energy. And I ain't know what the hell happened, what I'm saying? Because it wasn't intentional. That shit just happened by itself on its own volition. And to this day, I'm just like mystified by it because it's like, damn, that was one hell of an experience. And I could never recreate that shit. But some real
Dude,
shit.
that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Hey,
Do
man, this
you?
human body,
Yeah.
man, that's amazing.
Do you feel like Kundalini can be a little bit taken to mainstream?
Man, that's my major problem with this whole new age spirituality stuff, man. They take it's basically like what they call that word? Cultural appropriation of various
I was
cultures.
thinking that. I was
Yeah, you
thinking that.
see,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
basically what it is because they take various Asian philosophies and try to
yeah.
make that shit Western, and they take various Eastern Indian philosophies and try to make that shit
Okay.
Western. And now they're even trying to take a lot of African shit and make that shit Western. And it's like you
Oh
can't
yeah,
do that. These are different peoples with different systems and different perspectives and
yeah.
understandings of life and how it works. They all may have similarities in essence because they all tapping into the same source, but these are cultural identities. You can't just, what I'm saying, take this shit and be like, all right, we're gonna modify it and present it to you this way. We're gonna sell it to you. I'm a certified shaman, blah blah blah. Like, what the fuck is a certified shaman or certified key healer? You can't just, what I'm saying, enter somebody's culture like that. It's rites of passage for a reason when it comes to things. Somebody can't just walk around like, hey, I'm a Mason and start wearing them in Masonic emblem and shit and be like, I'm a Mason. Like, you gonna meet some very serious problems if you do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Bro.
I know some Masons, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they got a lot of, you know what I'm saying? They got a lot of them got surface knowledge depending on their ranking, but the higher their rank, you know what I'm saying? They got some legit knowledge, some legit occulted knowledge, you know what I mean? And I know a few of them, but again, these are the people I'm never going, you know what I'm saying, disclose publicly, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's shit out here, man. But that's why it's like spiritual. I mean, new age spirituality. Like they are like really misconstruing a lot of the essence of a lot of teachings. Because like I have friends from like that have Indian backgrounds, like you know what I'm saying, that come from India or come from Asia or whatever, and they'll tell you it's like, look, like my people in this culture, they don't, you know what I'm saying, they don't even like talk about these things like this. You know what I'm saying? Like this is stuff that you don't even mention in the household or whatever. Like so it's like it's kind of like disrespect out of ignorance, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's where I come in, where it's like I try to, you know what I'm saying, educate those who are, you know what I'm saying, that don't know, that, you know what I'm saying, it might just be naive or whatever. But at the same time, you got people that just don't give a fuck and will, you know what I'm saying, continue to do it anyway. But that's just them, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So we don't
Yeah.
sweat that. We're just trying to, you know what I'm saying, enlighten those, you know what I'm saying, properly when it comes to like respecting people's traditions and shit. Like you can't just like even with the whole kimono, like I don't know if you've seen this situation where Kim Kardashian, she tried to brand her underwear clothing line as kimono, and the Japanese are in uproar about that because you know what I'm saying that's
No.
their fucking culture. You know what I mean? Like you can't just try to own somebody's culture. Like that's again like a form of colonialism. Like that shit is like
Yeah.
problematic. But yeah, just respect people's, you know what I'm saying, traditions and shit.
So you telling me all these self-proclaimed shaman people aren't real, bro? Like all these internet shamans, they're not legit, bro.
Just think about it, dog. What is a shaman? You know what I'm saying? A shaman is someone who is the like, you know what I'm saying, the person, the go-to person for medicine in a tribe in the forest somewhere who actually lives amongst nature, like actual nature. Not somebody that go walk in the park and smell some flowers, like, all right, I'm in tune with nature now. Like, nah, this dude is actually living out there. He's actually communicating with the animals and you know what I'm saying? He has an ability to speak with the animals and the plants and actually gain wisdom from them and then take that wisdom back to his village and then impart it to the people and say someone who has a you know what I'm saying some sort of unknown illness, he can then go out into the wilderness and gain that insight and bring it back and then heal that person with the proper herbs or whatever. The person that's living in modern society that's always on their phones can you know what I'm saying feel a radiation, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of our auras are even fucked up to a point where we can't even really be on some shaman shit because you really have to have your second sight and you know what I'm saying on a key and your you know what I'm saying your spiritual senses heightened. But a lot of this constant entertainment, constant distractions, as well as the technology we're all so engrossed in, keeps us from ever you know what I'm saying getting to that innate nature that we have, which is being connected with the world around us. You know what I mean? A lot of us live in our heads. We can't even get outside of our own thoughts. So how can somebody, you know what I'm saying, that's living here in the West claim to be a shaman? Like I'll never claim to be a shaman. Like, you know what I'm saying? I may be knowledgeable about certain things, but I know I don't know everything. I know I can't go out into the fucking woods and fucking talk to some cactus and be like, hey man, this is gonna cure this. Like I can't do that shit yet. You know what I'm saying? But it's like that's what I'm saying. Like we can't be having these sort of people out here misguiding people. Like you know what I'm saying? Cause say somebody that don't know this shit, see somebody online, then seek services from them. Like it's all placebo at the end of the day too. We gotta keep this in mind. Like life is placebo. So somebody that wake up one day be like, hey, I'm a Reiki master. Like they, you know what I'm saying, project that onto their own reality. So somebody that they come in contact with that seek their services, that believe in them, their own belief heals them. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that.
Damn.
That's where it gets tricky with this whole thing. So it's like everything is everything, you know what I mean? But at the same time, everything ain't for everybody. So
That's
yeah,
interesting because when I got on Twitter, that's the one thing I noticed is I saw a lot of shamans and stuff, and just like really normal looking people, like Western people, and or the former shamans or whatever. So I didn't even know what a shaman is until now. But that's so interesting. So I always thought like, wow, I thought that's just a Central American thing or something, or
yeah.
just something that's really really rare. But what what cultures or what does it require for someone to be a legit shaman, like back in the traditional, I guess, authentic sense? Like what is there like a ceremony? Is it a special ability, like they're born with it, or how does that work?
Yeah, you have to be chosen. See, again, like this is way well beyond even Central American and South American indigenous cultures. Like shamans exist in various countries in Africa. Shamans exist in various
Okay.
countries in Asia and India. You know what I'm saying? A
Okay.
shaman is basically a mystic with the real abilities to actually tap into his environment and gain wisdom from that, and then be practical of practical use in his community. That's essentially what a shaman is. So yes, a shaman is chosen, but then they can also share their knowledge with, say, a student or a disciple, and impart that via a rites of passage or a ceremony or a ritual that will induct them into that sort of teaching and understanding. You see what I'm saying? So somebody who's online that actually has access via bloodline and
Yeah.
actual personal relationship with somebody that's, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying, it's just shaman, then they can get online and be like, all right, you know what I'm saying, I got some shaman knowledge and I can proclaim to be a shaman because of this knowledge. But at the end of the day, action is everything, you know what I'm saying? Action will always be louder than words. So you gotta still be putting in that work and still be actually out here healing people, especially yourself, and doing these sort of things instead of just being on some philosophical sort of rants about it and just chopping it up on a theoretical sense. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah. So you studied a lot of Indian. The was it the bag? Like it's sad that I don't know this stuff, but
Nah,
the
it's not sad,
yeah.
man. It's all just, you know what I'm saying, tools and various, you know what I'm
Uh,
saying? It's not even needed, you know what I mean? Like,
okay.
but basically, like, I'm eclectic, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I came into the whole spiritual thing, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, I was eclectic. And this is again thanks to my teachers as well as my curiosity, because
Yeah.
they were eclectic. They had sources on from various different like mystical Jewish texts, various mystical
Okay.
Muslim texts, mystical Christian, like mystical Zen Buddha, like all these different systems, you know what I'm saying? Like I was introduced to. So like those were the things that I pretty much, you know what I'm saying, kind of studied and adhered to in the beginning, you know what I'm saying, as well as like, the Nation of Gods and Earths, which is, like a kind of like a hip hop sort of spiritual system, but it's not necessarily hip
What?
hop. It's what a lot of the
Yeah.
hip hoppers in the 90s were
Yeah.
rocking with, you know what I'm saying? Like you listen to
What?
people like Wu Tang,
Yeah.
Erica Badu, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Goddamn, like the list goes on and on. KRS-One, like all these cats, like they be dropping mathematics and science, like Lord Jamal, like all these cats, Brand Nubian, like they all, you know what I'm saying, like it's a whole thing with that. Like they call it NGE, the Nation of Gods and Earths, or the 5% Nation. You know what I'm saying? Like this is basically like an Afro American spiritual system that was developed by a brother named Clarence 13X, and he was pretty much known as the godfather of it, like Allah. They call him Allah. So like they teach, you know what I'm saying, the various divine mathematics, supreme mathematics, and you recite, you know what I'm saying, your lessons and everything. 360 degrees, and no knowledge is 360 degrees. So like that's involve your lessons. So every day there's a new lesson that you learn, and you recite that to your cipher. That's where the whole rap cipher comes from. Like your cipher is the people that you're in a circle with, and y'all chopping it up, building, exchanging knowledge, and you know what I'm saying, gaining wisdom from each other and everything. That's the original cipher, and that translated into hip hop. Where you know what I'm saying, like where we rap, we dropping gems on the mic, spitting knowledge on the mic, but that element is missing, and that's a whole nother topic in itself with today's rap. You know what I'm saying? And that's by design too, on purpose. That shit ain't by fucking accident.
Yeah.
You know
Oh
what I mean?
yeah. 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 So are you gonna? So are you? Is it your intention to bring some of that stuff back
It's
into
still
the hip
present.
hop scene?
Still present. Like Lil
Oh
Wayne
yeah.
said in one song, hip hop ain't dead, it just had a heart attack. You know what I'm saying? It's just very underground. You know
Damn.
what I mean? Like that shit is underground. Like it's there. People always dropping gems. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like always I mean, all the cats I fuck with, you know what I'm saying, including people that I know personally that be rapping and shit. You know what I'm saying? Be dropping the science and dropping
Yeah.
that esoteric knowledge, all that shit. It's out there, dog. It's out there. Like, you know what I'm saying? I definitely put you on game with that, but you know what I mean? Like, but for the global masses, the people that's in the forefront, like the Migos and all these different people that's always, you know, sound this auto tune, rave, rapping shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you don't never hear, you know what I'm saying, no type of science and knowledge drop by them because they're being pushed by a machine with a certain agenda. So you can't get that shit from no mainstream artist, period. It's actually a fact that they are like BET had a whole blacklist of like various underground artists that they would never play because of their conscious content. I'm saying Lauren Hill was on that shit, MF Doom, Talib Kweli, Most Def, like a lot of people, like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Never
this
heard
shit.
of any of them.
Oh damn. You never heard of MF Doom?
Who?
MF Doom?
Nah. I listen to all the machine pushed rappers. Yeah. I listen
Oh
to
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I like Tory Lanez. I like
yeah, these cats,
uh
you know what I'm saying? These cats are cool, you know what I'm saying? I ain't
yeah.
hating on nobody, you know what I'm saying, doing their thing or whatever. I'm not mad at the new generation at all. It's just the agenda that's behind them and what's being pushed, you know what I'm saying? That's the
Yeah.
problem. And people, you know what I'm saying, just like you said, like you ain't even heard none of these cats. That's where, you
Nah.
know what I'm saying, older cats like me, I gotta come in and just like, look, you ever heard of this guy? Like I'm telling you, you'll fuck with like all these cats I don't name. I can
All
definitely
right.
put you on game, especially on
Yeah.
that Doom, like
All right.
crazy shit. Like you'll be like, why the fuck isn't this guy mainstream? You know what I'm saying? But it's like, cause man, that content, content. Yep.
Where does the Illuminati play in all this? Like, what's your take on Illuminati? Like Jay-Z type
Man,
stuff?
let me go ahead and clarify and elucidate this right here, right now.
Let's do it.
We are the Illuminati, because Illuminati, that means the light bearers, the enlightened ones. You know what I'm saying? This is the small 5% of people on the planet. You know what I'm saying? So we are essentially the Illuminati, the ones who have esoteric knowledge that the common man, the common woman of everyday life doesn't have. But the whole misconception behind the Illuminati, like you mentioned, like with Jay-Z and all that stuff, it's not some sort of fraternity group that you can join or whatever the hell it is. You know what I'm saying? Like Jay-Z, Beyonce, and all them, they're not part of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like Jay-Z, like they're fucking Afrocentric as fuck. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh
it's so
yeah.
like Jay-Z does so much good shit for the black community and the
Oh
positive
yeah.
for black people and just human beings in general. You know what I'm saying? Like he like him like and people in the industry was battling this dude too. So you know what I'm saying? Like we have to clarify that, you know what I mean? But basically, you know what I'm saying? Like uh Jay-Z and Beyonce, like they're definitely occultists. They're definitely esotericists. Like they put symbolism and different things in their videos or whatever to hit your subconscious in a way where it'll positively impact you so they can gain energy.
What?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, yeah,
Oh shit.
it's so much symbolism in these videos, dog. Like I'm telling you, but
Yeah.
yeah, that Illuminati shit, that's a misconception. And again, the whole reason people even say the word Illuminati is because of, you know what I'm saying, one of the people that I, you know what I'm saying, really learned a lot from, you know what I'm saying, I can mention his name because he, you know what I'm saying, is out there, but Professor Griff, you know what I'm saying, like he put that shit out there by accident because he was having a private conversation with somebody and they recorded the shit and he was mentioning like the Illuminati and there's this secret shadow government at work that's here to manipulate human consciousness and depopulate the earth and dumb down the population and whatever. And they recorded that shit and put it on YouTube back in like 2000, not YouTube, they put it on World Star back in 2007. And that shit went viral. And then they started uploading bits of that interview and putting
Yeah.
that on YouTube. And then from there, you have this array of all these different Illuminati videos with people making all sorts of crazy claims like, oh, Dave Chappelle's in the Illuminati, this in the Illuminati. Like, it's not a fraternity group that people can get in. Like the music and entertainment industry in itself is the satanic cabal that is pretty much programming and brainwashing the collective human consciousness in, you know what I'm saying, the most negative, detrimental way possible with decadence and debauchery, which is, you know what I'm saying, like the worst low immoral sort of like, you know what I'm saying, lifestyle and principles and ideologies. But yeah, again, that's, you know what I'm saying, that's something we can get into in much more depth in another time too, because that shit is heavily loaded as well. But yeah, just know the Illuminati, man, that shit ain't no fucking some shit, you know what I'm saying, some group you can just like just hey, I want to fucking get inside this. How do I join? You know what I'm saying? Oh, you gotta do some ritual to get in here. Like, no, it's not like that. The reason Hollywood makes celebrities do rituals is to break their will because whatever your moral compass is, whatever your spiritual tradition, your discipline, your practice, your belief system is, again, the goal of the Satanists is to reverse and inverse and perverse. So whatever you stand on and believe, they want to break your will so they can have you under full control. That's how you psychologically manipulate people. I mean, you can study MK Ultra and how they, you know what I'm saying, this mind control shit is done. Like that's pretty much how they, you know what I'm saying, drive a lot of these celebrities crazy. It's because they are exposed to, you know what I'm saying, these different situations where it's like, okay, your career is in jeopardy now. So you have to do this to maintain your career and keep getting your money. You don't want to wear a dress? Okay, we're gonna make you play this role instead where you're gonna have to kiss a guy, some shit like that, and you know you're a straight heterosexual male. You know, like they just whatever you say, or if you're a gay male, they'll make you have sex with the opposite sex. You know what I'm saying? It's, whatever your principle is, they basically want you to go against it, reverse and inverse and perversion. So you can be open and susceptible to all sorts of programming and whatever their will is. Oh,
I'm just digesting everything. We can talk about anything, I swear. We can just talk about anything and it'll just be a rabbit hole.
hey man, yeah man, shit is heavy out here, dog. Like, I mean, it's so much, dog. That's why I recommend like anybody that's listening to check out Mark Passio's work. You know what I'm saying? Like he
Okay.
really like puts it together and breaks it down. I mean, it's long and extended. Don't get me wrong. Like I mean, this guy has 3 hour, 4 hour, 16-hour long lectures and videos on YouTube as well as his website. what on earth is happening.com, but he really puts in and has been putting in a lot of work for 10 plus years with this shit. And his audience is very small too, because again, this information is too sensitive. It's
Yeah.
one of the reasons why my motherfucking account only get one like or some shit like that. It's like I got 600 followers. I don't give a fuck about none of that though. You know what I'm saying? It's just the message, and you know what I'm saying, the right people are being hit. You know what I'm saying? So when I do see one, like, I'm always appreciative. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, you feel like it should be, you know what I'm saying, more attention, or you know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
whatever on
for
it.
sure, for
And
sure. I mean, yeah, I mean, just you talk about all the I don't know, I just love your perspective, your high, how do I explain it? No, I just love your perspective, and you're sharing your high level of consciousness with everybody. And I know you're writing books, and you just had a new book
yeah,
coming out too, or
out now. So like you
it's
can
out
download
now.
it.
Yeah,
Hey, everybody that's listening, go download my new book, Vibrational Elevation. That book will definitely transform your inner self, which will then
yeah,
reflect your outer life. So your experiences will definitely increase as you chant these mantras. It's 14 very powerful mantras that I came up with and that I use to pretty much enhance my own consciousness, as well as the situations and experiences that I want to have in life. And trust me, I'm telling you, like, I've been experiencing a lot of things that I've been wanting to manifest, and there's a lot more
yeah,
opportunities coming to me that has never came before, and I'm attracting a lot more people that are in positions in life that I like to be in, that are really rocking with me genuinely. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? It's like, yo, like, just download that shit. Like, go to schoolinsight.com. It's free. You know what I'm saying? You download it for free. You know what I mean? And check out the other work. Ending Up Deity, Exploring the Mystery of You, and Insight. You know what I'm saying? Insight is basically like a little poetry book. You know what I'm saying? With like very deep existential mystical writings. You know what I'm saying? About existence and just life itself and consciousness, like all sorts of things like that. But definitely get Vibrational Elevation. Your vibration will definitely raise to a level where, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna notice it. Like, as long as you apply it daily, you chant it mentally, verbally, you know what I'm saying, and just do it every day. Like, you're gonna start seeing more synchronistic patterns in your life. You're gonna start seeing reoccurring numbers all the time. I mean, constantly. Like, it's crazy. Like, I mean, I'm seeing the same number so much now. Like, I mean, dog, I can expect when to see it, and it's there. Like, that's the
yeah,
level it's at. So that's what I'm saying. Definitely get there. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna raise your mood. If you feel down, it's gonna automatically bring your mood up, because vibration, you know what I'm saying, is your attitude, your thoughts, intentions, everything, your words, and what you speak. It's all that. So, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead and, you know what I mean, take advantage.
yeah. So link in the description. Just send me a link, and I'll post it in the description. But I just want to say that this is literally one of the topics that most resonate with me, because this is something, the vibration thing is something I definitely teach and also use to change my life. So since 2016, since I kind of got on the whole presence, enlightenment, self-realization path, I kind of gotten away from just the whole vibrational reality, law of attraction type of thing. And but 20 something, June 5th, was it? Yeah, June 5th. I decided, so of this, so it was like 20 some days ago. I decided, damn, I just need a break from just, I guess, trying to reach like full enlightenment, whatever. As crazy as that sounds, whatever. I just kind of wanted a break from it, and I just wanted to experience what if it would be like to raise my vibration, because during this time, as I'm trying to reach enlightenment or whatever, I've also stumbled across a lot of just this vibrational teachings, and it made sense. But at the time, I didn't want to go away from the enlightenment self-realization path. But June 5th, I was in the courtroom, and I was just surrounded by like all these negative people. I had to sign up for diversion in court, and there was like a bunch of people, whatever, just more negative energy and stuff. And I was just kind of like, damn, I don't know. It just kind of hit me. I was like, okay, my vibrational frequency can be way higher. And so I decided, okay, I need to take a break. So it's been, what is the date? So it's been 25 days, and I started to practice. For me, I practice. At first, it was just gratitude. I was just practicing, feeling really grateful, and just for me, feeling equals vibration. That's something that I really believe in, that or at least it really connects. So I was just feeling good, and I know how to feel good because I practiced gratitude for so long. So I can even just manually sit down for a while and just emit joy, and that's what I was doing. And I remember the next day I gained like 100 followers, and so it's been like 25 days. I gained like 300-400 followers in like 25 days. Crazy amount of networks, like just these people that I've just never talked to before, whatever, like are just talk. I'm like having relationships with them. I'm just building up so many connections, and just everything in my life seems to be changing. I went on trips to Daytona, and had a life-changing experience with self-realization as well. Like, so, and like my podcast just blew up on a whole nother level. And it's only been 25 days, man, and just a lot of healing going on too. And like I already see angel number like crazy, but I see angel numbers on a whole nother level or something. It's crazy. The synchronicity, everything around me is literally improving. And
Yeah.
so I just want to just let the audience know that the fastest way to change a reality, as far as I know, is, and probably the only way, like, or just the most effective way, is definitely changing your vibration. And I can't wait to check out your book and see, what additional ways that I can do that. And I'm sure, bro, we could probably come together one of these days and like really create something as well together. Put mine and yours kind of together or something. But yeah, guys, I just want to say, for the law of attraction crowd, I just think so I've been studying law of attraction for a long time, and it wasn't until I understood that everything is vibration, and then we kind of choose what frequency of life we basically want to experience based on our vibration. It's our vibration level, almost in a sense, is like a radio tuning thing. Like, you change the radio to the frequency that you want to listen to, in a sense, to the reality that you want to experience. And most people I know, they just do affirmation, like just like really mundane affirmations, like just visualizations that are just like, I don't know, I don't know, it's just very like mundane and whatever. But you have to pay attention to the vibration. You have to intentionally set up your vibrational frequency. And from what I've learned is that when you change your vibrational frequency and it's high, you don't really have to visualize or whatever. Everything you want is already there. So like, I've been experiencing things that I didn't even know I wanted, and it's just like, damn, this is perfect. So just real quick, so it's like imagine everything that you want. It's almost like at a certain level above, or not above you, but it's like at a certain level of vibration. It's almost like,
Frequency, tune into,
yeah. So you hit that, and it's almost like a bank account thing. Like, you hit that, and then just like jackpot, and then just shit start falling, like, and just things start happening. Like, you just start getting everything you want, and as you persist with that reality, you might experience some resistance or whatever, but if you just keep
persistent,
with your vibration, and just read your book and listen to my podcast. I talk a lot about vibrations, and your life will change very quickly. Like, things will improve proportionally to your vibrational frequency, in my experience.
Yes, absolutely, man. Shit is beautiful, man. I'm telling you, like, that gratitude will take you a long way. And I promise you, I share this technique that I learned too that helps.
Oh yeah.
Like, dog, here it is, man.
Oh shit.
So like, cause this is gonna really make shit even easier. Like, so look, check it. All right, so now, like you were saying, a lot of people would think about, have affirmations that are mundane or whatever it is, and like they're looking at it as something to obtain in the future. Like, oh, I want a job, I want this new position, I want a new car, whatever, and they're visualizing it as if it's not there, if it's not present. But what we have to understand is that we really truly are the creator. We are spirit, source, God, the universe, or whatever you want to call it, experiencing itself in these temporary bodies. these
Yes.
temporary lives. So from that point, we understand, okay, if we are the whole creation, the whole creator itself, the universe itself, then we are totality. We are everything. So we have no limit. We are infinite. There's
Yeah.
no huge or small in the universe, for it is infinitely expanding and imploding on itself simultaneously. So when you have that understanding, right, you can take a piece of paper or a sticky note or whatever. And I keep one with me over here, and basically you're gonna write on it. I don't know if you can see it, but you can write on it these words, which is what I want to manifest is the size of this dot. You draw a dot in the center of it, and you keep this understanding in mind. Like what you want to manifest, whatever it is a small dot. Because what is $100,000 compared to the universe? What is a new relationship compared to the universe? It's
Yeah.
infinite. Like the universe is huge and just, you know what I mean. There's no limit. It's endless. You know what I mean. So what is these small little human facets that we want compared to the totality of things, compared to the entire universe itself, when it's so grand, when
Yeah.
like, you know what I'm saying, somebody want $1 million, that's nothing. That's a tiny little tiny infinitesimal point or speck on, you know what I'm
Not
saying,
even.
the face of existence, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you have an understanding, you can attract it to yourself far even more, like even quicker and more
Yeah.
potently, you know what
Well,
I'm
that
saying?
changes your paradigm, that just
Mhm.
changes your realization too of like, oh shit, $1 million is like the game winner of life into wow, that's a sand in the I don't know, like it's nothing.
Exactly. Exactly. Because a lot of people struggle with that. Like we
Yeah,
create resistance in ourselves just by wanting things so much. Like that creates the
yeah,
resistance, which then immediately cuts off the availability of it manifesting. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Whatever it
for
is that
sure.
manifests, like, you know what I'm saying? Like if somebody really, you know what I'm saying, wants something so bad, like that very wanting in itself pushes it away. So
Yeah,
that's why, like, I like what you talk about on Twitter, like, which is surrender and
yeah,
acceptance and stuff like that. When in relation and in context to what we're
yeah.
talking about, like that shit is like absolutely necessary. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So as far as this surrender thing, I just want to something just came to my mind, which is listening to Abraham Hicks. They talk about the art of allowing, which I didn't understand, but now I feel like I have so much clarity on it. And basically, the point is this. Um, it's kind of like the attitude of I am enjoying what I have now, and I would like to have more, rather than oh man, I hate my life or whatever. You already cut yourself off from everything. So when you're in a high vibrational state, you are, in a sense, enjoying. When you're feeling gratitude, when you're just feeling good, when you're in a state of gratitude, that activates the mode of allowing. When you are enjoying life right now, you will attract more to enjoy. So, when you enjoy life, it's like a mind fuck. It's like the opposite of everything we are taught, because we're taught, hey, let's get a great job, let's control our reality, and then we'll feel a little bit of joy inside or whatever to raise our vibration. But in reality, we feel this joy now, we feel good now, and that will create our outer reality. And another thing is, don't let your outer experience, your outer reality dictate how you feel on the inside. Like, you have to realize your outer reality is just like a tiny slice of perspective in the ultimate grand scheme of things as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because like that's the, you know what I mean. Like
Yeah,
this shit really is infinite, man. That's why it's like when you just pretty much sit your consciousness or your awareness at its
yeah,
original point, which is all that is totality. You know what I'm saying? The whole entire creation, like that's the most highest seat, like, you know what I'm saying, like where you can have your understanding. So from that point, everything else, you know what I'm saying, like we have to start from spirit first, which is the expansion of everything, you know what I'm saying, spirit, then mental, then physical. That's how everything is created. Like they teach us in reverse again, like the gender of the sameness, teaching everything in reverse. No, matter is first. Matter is the only thing that exists. Yo, there's no such thing as spirit. Oh, there's no such thing as this. It's like, nah, that's reverse teaching. Like we come from
yeah,
spirit first, and then
yeah,
things trickle down and take physical form. If you ever study or look at cymatics, Like you could put salt on a tonoscope and play a tone, and that salt will then take the form of that tone. You see, just like the letters in the alphabet. Like a lot of people think we had no idea that the A, the B, C, like these forms, these shapes, that the letters that we see are actually the actual forms of the sounds that are made from these alphabets. I mean, from these letters.
What?
Put it on a telescope, and you know what I'm saying, you say see, like it takes the form of that, you know what I'm saying, letter, because it's the frequency. This is how the language is constructed. Like these, like whoever created language, they want just randomly just, oh, this
Yeah,
means that this is an N, like like
yeah.
they had that, you know what I'm saying, that knowledge, man. Like, and it gets even deeper with other from the what's the word I'm looking for, but just from other like ancient languages, you know what I'm saying, phonetic, yeah, phonetic language and shit. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it's mystical science applied to a lot of this shit, not just at random.
Science, yeah, the science is catching up to the spirituality now. It's so crazy, you know?
It's because they late, man. It's like they
Yeah,
discovered this shit. Mystic's been understood for eons.
exactly. And they're just like, oh, now you guys are just discovering this stuff.
Yeah, like being late to a party or some shit. Like, man,
Yeah, yeah. What do you think? What do you think is the Western? It always sounds like all these philosophies, all these amazing spiritualities coming from Eastern. But what's the Western? What is the divine purpose of the Western culture? Like what? You know what I'm saying?
good question. I'm glad you asked that question too, man. Because we're, you know what I mean? Like, it's really like if you asking that question from a perspective of today, you know what I'm saying, like from a
Yeah,
point of like today, like where what is out, because like all we really have over here in Western spiritual, you know what I'm saying, is the
yeah,
new age. And we know that the new age is a false, you know what I'm saying, we can, you know what I'm saying, chop up, you know what I'm saying,
yeah,
that too, like how that was created by, you know what I'm saying, a lady,
yeah.
well, really inspired by, I wouldn't say created, but it was inspired by Mary, what was her name? Madame Blavatsky, yeah, Madame Blavatsky and various other occultists back in the 18th century that, you know what I'm saying, traveled to these various Eastern countries and various other indigenous cultures and extracted knowledge from these peoples and then cultivated it and developed it into their own little system via the Theosophical Society. And from the Theosophical Society came what we see today, which is New Age spirituality, because the Theosophical Society's whole premise and inception was based solely on the unification of all peoples, races, and just spiritual systems and and what have you. So it came from that, which was an innocent approach to it, a very like you could say humbling approach, but at the same time, you can't if you go out in nature and mix this certain plant with this plant, you end up getting poison. You know what I'm saying? Everything in creation has, what I'm saying, design denotes function. So you can't just go mixing up everything and blending it all together thinking it's gonna be something sweet and tangible for everybody. Like it just doesn't work like that. Reality doesn't work like that. And that's the whole pretense. I mean, that's the whole misconception that they are pushing, like that you can do that with everything and it's all gonna be fine and dandy. No, it doesn't work like that. You know what I'm saying? Like try that shit in real reality, which is nature. Like, you know what I'm saying? You will find out real quick it doesn't work like that. So it's the same way with the spiritual shit. You can't take some spiritual system from the east and merge that shit with some South African shit and think that's gonna work. Like this energy is gonna collide and, you know what I'm saying, conflict with one another. Same, you know what I'm saying? Just like if you come at a Christian or somebody who has a very strong religious belief and talk to them about manifestation and law of attraction, they're like, oh, you're a witchcraft. Oh, this devil worship. Like, oh, it's going to, the knowledge, and, you know what I'm saying, it's going to conflict with the new knowledge. So it's the same thing. But, it's a very innocent, you know what I'm saying, desire. It's a very, you know what I'm saying, I
Yeah,
don't know the word to put for it, but it's just something, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people are like, oh, it sounds nice, you know what I'm saying? Like we can unify all these different things and make something nice for the world, but you know what I'm saying, it just didn't work like that. Like and it's a lot with the Theosophical Society like, against it, but that'll be a whole, you know what I'm saying, other thing.
uh,
I gotta make a video on that shit too. I was supposed to do that last year, but that just never happened. But yeah,
oh
go
yeah.
ahead.
Well, I feel like the one thing that Western society or just the Western philosophy or whatever seem to be good at, and I want you to correct me if I'm wrong, but seems to be technology. Do
Mm-hmm.
you agree with that? Or not? Like, cause like, look, I'm thinking of Western medicine versus Eastern medicine. I know I see cases of people healing cancer and literally everything, like healing spines with the power of their mind and whatever. But in the Western world, we have all this technology, but it just turns into this pharmaceutical agenda or whatever. And all these doctors. I don't remember the last time I know anybody who had a chronic ailment or just a serious ailment or something and got it like healed in the in the regular pharmaceutical doctor world. But we have all this amazing technology though,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
See, we have to understand. We have to understand our economic position over here in the West, particularly America. You know what I'm saying? Like here, this is a capitalist society, and what is capitalism? Capitalism
Yeah,
is very, very profit driven. This is why all
yeah,
like it's you know what I'm saying like it's pros and cons to everything. It's pros and cons to capitalism because you get start your own business, you know what I'm saying, and then
yeah,
excel in life from your own, being your own boss or whatever, or you could be slave to somebody else and hate your life and just be fueling somebody else's purpose and dreams while yours crumble and dissolve away as your life passes. So, you know what I'm saying? Like it's pros and cons with it, but to, you know what I'm saying, pretty much answer the question, like technology with America, like it's pros and cons with it. Like, yes, the technology does help things. I mean, certain things, pharmaceuticals, drugs can alleviate. That does help. Like me personally, like I had a sinus infection for like an entire year where I couldn't, breathe out of
damn,
one nostril, and there was just nasty mucus oozing
yeah,
out of that one nostril, and it was a horrid, just terrible smell that was constantly in my head that I just had to bear that whole entire year. But I did all the home remedies and herbal, you know what I'm saying, alternative remedies to try to alleviate it. And, it alleviated, but the thing was, it was so bad it would keep coming back. But it wasn't until I, you know what I'm saying, went to the doctor or whatever and got a prescription for like ibuprofen and had some sort of like, what's this shit called? Antibiotics. Yeah, I had got antibiotics prescribed, and that cleared the shit right the fuck out. And it's like
wow,
everything is case by case, like the
wow,
alternative shit. It does help and it can help, just like the pharmaceutical shit does help and can help, just like it can harm and does harm. So it's like that with a
yeah,
lot of things. But that's why I see like at the end of the day, it's all about balance. You know what I'm saying? And I see like here in the West, particularly, we're becoming a lot more imbalanced because people are really pushing and getting absorbing technology and the advancement of technology while they are like they're lacking the fundamental understanding of the organic technology they're already in, which is the body, the mind body, like that's the most advanced technology there is on the planet,
yeah,
you know. But it's like that's why they want to externalize our consciousness and keep us, distracted by these various new gadgets and gizmos and things of that nature,
yeah.
pretty much never have us tapping into the organic technology we're in biologically, physically, spiritually. So, like balance is everything. I'm for technology, I'm saying, don't get me wrong, like when
Me
it comes
too.
to like certain things with tech and like how we can advance various machine and help alleviate different things, but at the same time we can't be absorbed in it where it becomes the end all be all and nothing else matters and we're just lost in it.
Hmm. And speaking of about what you said about the body, like our body is just it's just amazing. Like
Yeah.
it's literally a conscious machine. Like it's just how if let's say we try to recreate this human body, like how do we recreate the nervous system, all the cells, like doing what it does, and then your cells recognize your individuality. Like if I put my blood or my cells in your body, it would like it wouldn't like it would know that it's not me or something like that, right? Like there's so much that goes into this, and then the consciousness, and then like if we breathe a certain way, we can activate DMT and start Kundalini. Like this is so man. I just this body is just so amazing, and people just totally neglect it.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
That's why one of my I definitely gotta touch on this real quick, but that's why one of my biggest inspirations is Bruce Lee, because Bruce Lee
Oh
is an
yeah,
example of a human being that was not only physically like concentrated on building up and developing and growing his physical body, but also his mental and spiritual body. Like he had a wisdom that shined very beautifully while he was on this earth, and still after he's on, after he left the planet. So with that being said, like he is the dragon in that sense because the dragon is the only being that can both fly in air, breathe underwater, breathe fire, and walk on land. That's mastery of all elements. That's why the dragon is revered in all different cultures of
Wow.
the world. You see what I'm saying? Like it's
Holy
just science to
shit.
that. You know what I mean? that's why Bruce Lee had such an impact on the planet like he did, because you know what I'm saying, he was like the physical human incarnation of the dragon on his plane, like he really was the dragon, like mastery of all elements type shit. Like he really developed his body and mind to the point where his soul just had to take flight because it's like, all right, you perfected yourself. There's no more growing for you to do. What the fuck are you here for? That's why that's sort of shit.
Yeah. Have you heard about wait, how did he die? He got shot
No,
or
his son got shot by accident on a stage. Some
accident?
yeah, I know, yeah, quote unquote accident.
Bro,
But he died from a brain aneurysm. Like he took a nap and took some painkiller or something after a workout and just never woke up again. See,
for real, bro. That's how he died,
fucking master, right? Of martial
bro.
arts.
I refuse to believe that, bro. There's no way he just took some pain pills and died, bro. You know someone was after him, bro. I swear, man. That's
Yeah,
crazy, man.
yeah, man. Bruce Lee, you know what I'm saying? He was
Yeah,
enlightening people in a whole lot of things. Like again, he had a big ass influence on hip hop and shit in the beginning, like
yeah, yeah,
and all that.
yeah.
All that.
His brother. See, like Chinese people are still super bitter about all of this. But from what I was told from family members or whatnot, was like that was all set up. Instead of a prop gun, they actually used a real gun on purpose, and they just
Mhm.
shot him
Yeah,
and
because
stuff.
they know,
So,
like, when a guy is a blank gun, you know what I'm saying? When it's blank in the gun and shit, like, you can tell the difference from
gosh,
a blank and an actual bullet. Like, it's
yeah. Now we just got like Jet Li
yeah.
or
I don't know
whoever.
what he's doing. Like, Jet Li, he dope as fuck, though. But yeah,
He is.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if he's still alive or not. I haven't seen
Yeah,
anything,
yeah.
but I know Jackie Chan. I think he had a recent movie or something like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's. How do you feel about Jackie Chan?
Jackie Chan, man, that's my dude. I love Jackie Chan, man.
Yo, yeah.
He another dude I grew up watching, man. Like he was flipping over people's heads, swinging on ceiling fans, kicking people in the face and shit. Like, man, that's some
But
dope.
that's just the movies, though, right? Like Bruce Lee did that for real, for real. Like
Oh
he
yeah,
had,
bro.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, Jackie, he was an actual martial artist too, but he was under Bruce Lee as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, because Bruce Lee, he had this shit set up so realistically to a point where he accidentally injured Jackie Chan on the set of Enter the Dragon. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how it really was. You know what I mean? But hey, man, I got love for all of them. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like Jackie, like Drunken Master and shit like that. Yeah, I do believe, you know what I'm saying. He definitely, you know what I'm saying. You ain't gonna want to square up with this dude, you know what I'm saying?
nah, nah. They're also humble too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely,
man.
definitely.
Yeah, I remember Jackie Chan. Like, I used to have this coworker over a lot, and he's this like middle-aged Asian dude, and he
Hmm.
has a whole playlist of Jackie Chan movies, and he will watch one every day, and you can't finish it. He will watch one day, and there's so many. Like, there's an insane amount of Jackie Chan movies. I don't know if he makes a movie a day or whatever, but I think some of them are, yeah, they're not on theater. But I just remember he can't sleep unless he he has his laptop on with a Jackie Chan movie on. I just always remember that when he goes to bed, he has Jackie Chan on. But yeah, man, that guy's a legend as well.
Word. That's what's up.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, man, we'll wrap this up. We you need to come back very often, and I'll hit you up sometime soon because I want to talk about just possibly, I don't know, just working on some like vibrational stuff together or
Oh
something. I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah,
It's
most
I think
definitely.
yeah, we could share our talents and insights and knowledge together. So real quick, how can we find you?
Hey, y'all can find me on Twitter. That's at Insight in You. You can find me also now on Instagram. That's also Insight in You. And definitely check out and subscribe to the YouTube channel School of Insight. that's where I'm pretty much going to be dedicating a lot of my content from now on, because of Twitter's algorithm keep on, you know what I'm saying, filtering out a lot of information. So, and plus with YouTube is be video format, audio format, so I can really get into the nit and grit of a lot of topics I really want to break down in depth, you know what I'm saying? So definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. And just follow me on Twitter, you know what I'm saying, to stay updated, because I'll be posting updates, and I'll definitely be posting links to, you know, new videos that I put out. Yeah, man. So
All
yeah,
right.
appreciate it. And if you
All
need
right,
help
man.
and advice, like you know, you
Yeah.
can email me at insightinu@yahoo.com as well, or just DM me on Twitter.
All right. Thank you so much, man.
Hey man, appreciate. Thank you for having me on your podcast, man. I hope this thing grow to where it need to be, like, you know what I'm saying, millions of views, so they could get this real insight and wisdom, and, you know what I'm saying, understanding, yo, like, because what you're doing is a very positive and impactful thing, and we need it, and it's in alignment with the times, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I
bro.
want to thank you for having me on here, you know what I'm saying? I'm humble. You know what I mean?
Well, all right. Yeah, I appreciate that, and I hope YouTube, the algorithm, everything works out for you. And yeah, man. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, likewise. Peace, brother.
All right, see you, bro.